morning, everyone.
Hello, Paul. Good morning.
Blessed is the spot and the house and the place and the city and the heart and the mountain and the refuge and the cave and the valley and the land and the sea and the island and the meadow where mention of God have been made, and His praise glorified. And we're off and running. Good morning, everyone. Hello, everyone in our Zoom feed. I'm so close to my laptop now. I can actually see we've got Pamela here and Andy and Yuta and Terry. Good morning to all of you, and hello, everybody out there in Facebook land. I'm assuming that those of you who are celebrating holidays are probably still in it, still in the middle of holiday. I don't know what's the word I'm looking for. Cheer. And there was some question as to whether we were going to actually have our regular program. But if you recall, a couple of weeks back, we had to take 2 weeks break for various reasons. And I didn't want to miss another week. And since we're almost finished with the chapter that we are working on in the book that we're reading, I just thought, well, maybe we'll go ahead and get it started. As you can see, I'm home. I'm not at the Baha'i Center in Clearwater. I am at home, and Jeremiah is kind enough to do the tech stuff from his home. Daryl actually had planned on being here, not here, but at the center. And hang on, let me do this. But at the center, and there was a mix-up in communication. I'll just leave it at that. And so he will not be here today. But we're going to go ahead and we're going to do this thing. Let's just say that. But good morning to everyone. Let's start with a prayer. And I don't know if this is by pure coincidence or because I've turned to this prayer so much, but this is one of my favorite prayers. I've said a couple of times. O Lord, my God, and my haven in my distress, my shield and my shelter in my woes, my asylum and refuge in time of need, in my loneliness, my companion, in my anguish, my solace, and in my solitude, a loving friend, the remover of the pangs of my sorrows and the pardoner of my sins. Wholly unto thee do I turn, fervently imploring thee with all my heart, my mind, and my tongue, to shield me from all that runs counter to thy will in this, the cycle of thy divine unity, and to cleanse me of all defilement that will hinder me from seeking stainless and unsullied the shade of the tree of thy grace. Have mercy, O Lord, on the feeble, make whole the sick, and quench the burning thirst. Gladden the bosom, wherein the fire of thy love doth smolder, and set it aglow with the flame of thy celestial love and spirit. Robe the tabernacles of divine unity with the vesture of holiness, and set upon my head the crown of thy favor. Illumine my face with the radiance of the orb of thy bounty, and graciously aid me in ministering at thy holy threshold. Make my heart overflow with love for thy creatures, and grant that I may become the sign of thy mercy, the token of thy grace, the promoter of concord amongst thy loved ones, devoted unto thee, uttering thy commemoration and forgetful of self, but ever mindful of what is thine. O God, my God, stay not from me the gentle gales of thy pardon and grace, and deprive me not of the well springs of thine aid and favor. Neath the shade of thy protecting wings let me nestle, and cast upon me the glance of thine all-protecting eye. Loose my tongue to laud thy name amidst thy people, that my voice may be raised in great assemblies, and from my lips may stream the flood of thy praise. Thou art in all truth the gracious, the glorified, the mighty, the omnipotent. And this is a prayer by Abdu'l-Baha. And I see that here in Facebook we have Suzanne Gershner with us. Hello, Suzanne. How are you? You can see I'm home here, and so we're doing our regular program, but we're doing it from home. Now, of course, we've been working with the book Some Answered Questions, and I'm reading from a tablet today, and that's another book I didn't bring out here. It's in my living room. I'm not going to go get it, and I just lost a page. Maybe I shouldn't read from a tablet. I hope I didn't I think I just lost the page. Hang on. I just deleted the page. The reason I wanted to use my tablet, I will admit, we'll talk about that. The reason I wanted to use the tablet is because my edition of the book here at home is a slightly older edition. And so I really wanted to, and I know now why I deleted it, I really wanted to use the most current edition, which is what is in Ocean. So I was going to be reading from Ocean. And since what we're going to be doing is, again, a little shorter. Hello, Kim. How you doing? Is a little shorter. And I see we've got Julia Wallace Cox Letourneau. Good morning, Julia. Another Facebook friend. Bear with me as I try and see if I can pull that back up. If I can't do it quickly, well, then I'll just go and grab the book. But I really, really wanted to use this tablet. I've had some changes as far as how I use the tablet. I've had some changes, and so I'm having to get used to, let's just say, new buttons, okay, new keys that I'm not used to pushing. Yeah, so let's see. I'm looking at. Let's see. It's not happening just yet. Wait a minute. Okay, additional tablets.
Hey, Tony, if you get in a jam here and have to go pick up your book, I'll play some background music until you return.
I would love you to do that right now, Andy. Play some background music. Oh my goodness, I love this, right? I'm absolutely crazy about the fact that you suggested that. That's wonderful. Thank you, Andy. And that I like that little feature there. I like that we were able to do that. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Oh my goodness. And I recognize the song. You've done that song a few times before. I like that. But anyway, yeah, I got to the section that I have to put my little the keyboard that goes with my tablet away. That's what happened. I hit some keys on that, and I'm not used to using that. It was a little gift that I got recently. But as you know, we've been reading from the book Some Answered Questions by Abdu'l-Baha. And we're on chapter 11. And because now I'm looking at a tablet, this says page 69. But what I've learned is the pages in Ocean, because that's what I'm looking at, Ocean 2, don't necessarily line up with the pages in the hard copy book. So what I'm looking at right now, it says page 69, but I'm not sure that that would be the page that that you're on. But we are looking at, again, chapter 11, and we're going to finish it today because it's just 2 pages in the hard copy book. It's just 2 pages. And if you recall, Abdu'l-Baha is explaining the various imageries and metaphors that are used in chapter in that book from the book of Daniel, chapter 11. And he's explaining what these things mean. Because frankly, I don't know about you, but I still remember hearing some of these things, and they're pretty scary if they actually do occur in actual physical, in the physical realm, in the way that they are described. But Abdu'l-Baha is telling us, no, that's not what that means. The dead aren't going to be coming up out of graves or anything like that. These all have spiritual significance, and this language that is used is metaphorical. And so he gives the literal meaning of what these things mean. Okay. And the line that we finished on last week was the paragraph that ends with, and thus the destroyers will be destroyed. And I'm going to start on that paragraph. Okay. Let me keep a track on time, 10:14. And so the paragraph starts, and this is the quote from Daniel, and shouldst destroy them which destroy the earth. And Abdu'l-Baha points out that this means, that is, thou wilt entirely deprive the heedless, for the blindness of the blind will be exposed, and the sight of them that see will become evident. The ignorance and folly of the exponents of error will be recognized, and the knowledge and wisdom of the rightly guided will be manifested, and thus the destroyers will be destroyed. And I think about that, those who see the significance and accept the importance, shall we say, of this guidance that comes from God through his messengers, there are going to be some consequences. There are going to be consequences for those who actually accept it and those who do not. And thus the destroyers will be destroyed. And he moves on to the next quote. And the temple of God was opened in heaven. The temple of God was opened in heaven. Then he goes on to explain. This means that the divine Jerusalem has appeared, and the Holy of Holies has become manifest. Among the people of true knowledge, the Holy of Holies refers to the essence of the religion of God and his true teachings, which have remained unchanged throughout all the prophetic dispensations, as was previously explained. While Jerusalem encompasses the reality of the religion of God, which is the Holy of Holies, as well as all its laws and mutual relationships, rights, and material ordinances which constitute the city. That is why it is called the Heavenly Jerusalem. As I was reading this morning, I thought about a few weeks back, when Gilbert kind of steered us back to the fact that, all these, either way, I was misinterpreting things. And he kind of let us know basically what Abdu'l-Baha is saying here. The divine Jerusalem has appeared, and the Holy of Holies has become manifest. Among the people of true knowledge, the Holy of Holies, that phrase, the Holy of Holies, refers to the essence of the religion of God. The essence of the religion of God and his true teachings, which have remained unchanged throughout all the prophetic dispensations, as was explained previously. While Jerusalem, you've got the Holy of Holies, and then you've got Jerusalem. Jerusalem encompasses the reality of the religion of God, which is the Holy of Holies, as well as all the laws, mutual relationships, rights, and material ordinances which constitute the city. That is why it is called the Heavenly Jerusalem. So, and then he kind of puts this all in a nutshell briefly. In the course of the dispensation of the Son of Truth, the Son of Truth being Baha'u'llah, in the course of the dispensation of the Son of Truth, the lights of God will shine forth with the utmost splendor. And thus the essence of the divine teachings will be realized in the world of being. The darkness of ignorance, of ignorance and folly, will be dispelled. The world will become another world. Spiritual illumination will encompass all, and hence the Holy of Holies will appear. That religion of God, the Holy of Holies, the essence of the religion of God, will finally appear. And I got to tell you, again, I have to go back again to I'm going to put this here and hope it doesn't fall. Okay, it's fine. Kind of go back and refer back again to my Christian upbringing. And as a child, hearing a lot of these things and picturing them physically, literally, as having literal, it'll be done literally. And then when I read this, it just makes more sense to me. It just makes more sense. And yet, I will also admit that looking at the world with the things that are going on now, globally, it gives me pause. I guess it'll be great to. I think. How do I say this? To me, it makes it so much more significant that we align ourselves with the cause of God and the true essence of His religion. Okay, maybe I should stop editorializing there. So to continue, the next quote, and the temple of God was opened in heaven. The temple of God was opened in heaven. What does that mean? Well, Abdu'l-Baha says this means also that through the dissemination of these divine teachings, the disclosure of these heavenly mysteries, and the dawning of the Sun of Truth, the portals of progress and advancement will be flung open on all sides, and the signs of celestial blessings and bestowals will be made manifest. Let's think about that. Progress and advancement. As we learn, for those of us who are part of who study the Baha'i or are part of the faith or a friend of the faith, and we study the writings, we're told in the writings that when a manifestation of God comes, there is this, I'll use the term explosion of spiritual energy. And it's not just limited to, or the effects are not just limited to those who believe. It affects the globe. And when Baha'u'llah came, there was this explosion of spiritual energy. And so many things started happening at that time, this major uptick in progress and so forth. And let's read that paragraph again. The temple of God was opened in heaven. Abdu'l-Baha says this means also that through the dissemination of these divine teachings, through the dissemination of the teachings of the manifestation of God, the disclosure of these heavenly mysteries, and the dawning of the Sun of Truth, the portals of progress and advancement will be flung open on all sides, and the signs of celestial blessings and bestowals will be made manifest. And again, I keep coming back to how I process that. I keep thinking about how so often we're told that we need to have, again, a personal relationship with God, and we do. But the effects of this dissemination of these divine teachings, it has a global effect. It has a global effect. And I think the only thing that, or at least one thing that probably makes it kind of difficult is when we read about these things that occur, the positives that occur, you kind of want them all to happen right away, don't you? And no, unfortunately, that's not the way it is. It's easy to become impatient or even to just not believe, because when we see these things happening, or when we read these things, and we can see, is there advancement? Of course there is advancement. Is there progress? Of course there is progress. But then we can also see the negatives, this pushback, against, let's say, what we might call spiritual enlightenment and the increase in spirituality. And we see, the darker side of the human condition that some people willfully give into. So anyway, again, there I go, going on too much. And moving on to the next paragraph. Before I move on, I do want to say, I see you there, Kim. How you doing? Kim and I had a conversation yesterday. I'm throwing you under the bus and putting your business in the street, Kim. Kim is here in Zoom. But we were talking about just, reading the writings and so forth. And you know what? I've just had a senior moment. There was a point behind. Oh, I remember now. How I personally don't consider myself to be what we call deepened in the faith. Do I read a lot? I do. But as Daryl and I like to point out, we are not spiritual guides. We're just doing what we're told to do, teach. And that's what all Baha'is are told to do, teach the faith, not proselytize, but still teach the faith. Teach about the arrival of Baha'u'llah and the revelation of Baha'u'llah and this dispensation that we're in. And yet, with all of this, I still feel that I'm positively coming from the point of view of ignorance, not the point of view, the position of ignorance. In other words, I'm trying to learn just like you are, just like everyone is. And I always appreciate it when someone, presents another point of view, or gives us more clarity in ways that, just coming out of my mouth or two people's mouths, there might not be that clarity or even that accuracy, shall we say. And I see Jacqueline. Hello, Jacqueline. I think I said hello to Ameza, but if I didn't, hello, Ameza. And so that's why reading these, when people have additional input, I always like that. But anyway, to continue. And there was seen in his temple the ark of his testament. That's the quote. That's the quote. And what does it mean? This means that the book of his covenant will appear in his Jerusalem. The tablet of his testament will be recorded, and the meaning of the covenant and the testament will become evident. The call of God will resound throughout east and west, and the earth will be filled with the renown of the cause of God. And that sounds very positive, and it is. But then there's a darker side. The violators of the covenant will be humbled and abased, and the faithful will attain honor and glory. For they hold fast to the book of the covenant and are firm and unwavering in the path of the testament. It's we all come, we live our lives, we die. That's just part of the system, and you're not going to get around it. But one thing that I often think to myself is, no matter what happens in our lifetime, when we take our last breath, at least it would be good to know in our hearts that we have attempted to be on the right side of history, spiritually speaking. That we have received these writings that are available, and we've internalized them and tried to live our lives by them. Think of that. The call of God will resound throughout east and west. We've been part of the recipients of that. And the earth will be filled with the renown of the cause of God. The violators of the covenant will be humbled and abased, and the faithful will attain honor and glory, for they hold fast to the book of the covenant. They hold fast to the book of the covenant and are firm and unwavering in the path of the testament. Okay. We've only got one more paragraph here, and this is it. This is the quote. And there were lightnings and voices and thunderings and an earthquake and great hail. Now, once again, I used to read this and think of it all literally. And of course, is there lightning? Of course there's lightning. And do you hear voices? People talk, of course. And is there thunder? Well, there's lightning. You're going to hear some thunder sometime. Earthquakes, we all know about that. And great hail. But this is what Abdu'l-Baha says this all means. Meaning that after the appearance of the book of the covenant, there will be a great tempest, a storm, if you will. That's my word. There will be a great tempest. The lightning of divine anger and wrath will flash. The thunder of the violation of the covenant will break. The tremor of doubt will shake the earth. The hail of torments will rain upon the violators of the covenant. And those, and you think about that, okay, first of all, the hail of torments will rain upon the violators of the covenant. And it sounds like, okay, if you violate the covenant, you're going to be suffering. But listen to this last part of that sentence. And those who claim to believe will be subjected to tests and trials. So we know during this time, of course, there are the positives and there are the negatives. And, again, as far, spiritually speaking, it's great to feel, at least if we can realistically and accurately feel that we're making the right choices. But it doesn't mean that we will be released from, some of the suffering and the negative, the bad things that are happening. We'll still be there, witnessing it and experiencing the negative effects. And I think that means we need to hold even tighter to the covenant. At least that's what I believe. And again, coming from the position of ignorance, anyone who would like to, express themselves and say, well, this is what I think it means, I don't have a problem with that. But again, that last paragraph, and there were lightnings and voices and thunderings and an earthquake and great hail, meaning that after the appearance of the book of the covenant, there will be a great tempest, the lightning of divine anger, and wrath will flash, the thunder. Well, we can take those physical images out and we can say divine anger and wrath will flash. There will be divine anger and wrath. The thunder of the violation of the covenant will break. We'll hear the noise of those that have broken the covenant. The tremor of doubt will shake the earth. There will be doubters and the effects that come from doubt. And the hail of torments will rain upon the violators of the covenant, and those who claim to believe will be subjected to tests and trials. So believing, I think, is not a deliverance from all of this. You're still going to experience some of the effects. I don't know. I'm thinking, but wait a minute. So many of us, I think, we think that believing is kind of a get out of jail free card. I just saw Terry shake his head. No, it is not. Until we successfully create globally the society that is the reflection of God's will. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done. Yeah, we're all going to be witnessing and experiencing the negative effects of, people making the choices not to accept the book of the covenant and not to accept the guidance from God that will improve society, on a global scale. That's the end of that chapter. I'm going to do a song here, which Daryl and I have done many, many times, but as Andy was pointing out, I don't normally use the acoustic guitar. On the lyric sheet that I have for this, it's a light shining in Akka. You've all heard us do this song many, many times. But for most of the songs I have a little verse that the song is either inspired by or based on. And so here's a verse coming from Baha'u'llah, an epistle to the son of the Wu. Meditate on the world and the state of its people. He, for whose sake the world was called into being, hath been imprisoned in the most desolate of cities. That most desolate of cities is Akka, by reason of that which the hands of the wayward have wrought. Well, think about that. Baha'u'llah was imprisoned by reason of that which the hands of the wayward have wrought. Even Baha'u'llah and all the other manifestations of God could not escape or avoid or get around, the difficulties of living this life and having to deal with those people whose standard is different. From the horizon of his prison city, he summoneth mankind unto the dayspring of God, the exalted, the great. There was a light shining in Akka, There was a light, it shone all around, a new revelation of God's loving guidance. One holy light, it lit up the night, the words streaming down. So many souls sharing a journey, so many souls seeking the light, hearing a voice whispering inside them, heeding the call, risking their all to do what was right. But so many tried to stop it from going. So many tried to put out that fire. But lovers of truth in this new dispensation knew they had found God's love come down, their heart's desire. And there was a light shining in a cup. There was a light, it shone all around, a new revelation of God's loving guidance. One holy light, it lit up the night, the words streaming down. One prison cell made oh so holy, God's revelation. There in the dark, this Son of truth, this blessed beauty, bringing God's love from up above into our hearts. And there was a light shining in our cup. There was a light, it shone all around, a new revelation of God's loving guidance. One holy light, it lit up the night, the words streaming down. One holy light, it lit up the night, the words streaming down. One holy light, it lit up the night, the words streaming down. As I'm singing that song, I'm juxtaposing it with what are we told here? And this song is saying, the light that hopefully all of us are seeking, it has come. It has come. And that idea of the light shining in Akka when Baha'u'llah was in prison, in that terrible, terrible, terrible prison, during his, what turned out to be years of imprisonment and never truly being free. He was transferred from one place to another. All of this revelation was still going on. It was still going on. And when we're talking about that light, it is this revelation, this dispensation, this new guidance that we've been brought uh, by Baha'u'llah. And so that's basically the meaning of that song. And at this time, as always, we like to have some time when anyone who would like to offer up a prayer or a reading of your choosing. This is that time. I see Farhad is here. Hello, Farhad and Gidi. Good morning. But yeah, anyone who'd like to offer up a prayer, this is that time. And as always, we always like to start with our Andy Murphy moment. And I know that Andy is here. So Andy, would you like to honor us with a song, please?
It'll be my pleasure.
Wonderful.
Were you able to hear what I just played?
Yes.
Okay, good. Nightingale of paradise, you sing of love, flooding all the world with light. Heedless men hear not your song of life eternal. They're lost in the dark of night. Nightingale of paradise, you sing of joy, flooding all the world with love, singing out your song of peace and brotherhood, with hope for all from above.
Thank you, Andy. That was beautiful. That was beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Is
All
there
right.
anyone who'd like to offer up a prayer?
Yes, sir.
Please, Terry.
O thou kind Lord, thou hast created all humanity from the same stock. Thou hast decreed that all shall belong to the same household. In thy holy presence, they are all thy servants, and all mankind are sheltered beneath thy tabernacle. All have gathered together at thy table of bounty. All are illumined through the light of thy providence. O God, thou art kind to all. Thou hast provided for all, dost shelter all, conferrest life upon all. Thou hast endowed each and all with talents and faculties, and all are submerged in the ocean of thy mercy. O thou kind Lord, unite all, let the religions agree, and make the nations one, so that may see each other as one family, and the whole earth as one home. May they all live together in perfect harmony. O God, raise aloft the banner of the oneness of mankind. O God, establish the most great peace. Cement thou, O God, the hearts together. O thou kind Father, God, gladden our hearts through the fragrance of thy love. Brighten our eyes through the light of guidance, light of thy guidance. Delight our ears with the melody of thy word, and shelter us all in the stronghold of thy providence. Thou art the mighty and powerful. Thou art the forgiver. Thou art the forgiving, and thou art the one who overlooketh all the shortcomings of all mankind. Up to Baha.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you very much. Is there anyone else who would like to share a prayer?
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can now, Kim. Yes.
Okay. O God, O thou who hast cast thy splendor over the luminous realities of men, shedding upon them the resplendent lights of knowledge and guidance, and hast chosen them out of all created things for this supernatural, I think it means grace, and has caused them to encompass all things, to understand their inmost essence, and to disclose their mysteries, bringing them forth out of darkness into the visible world. He verily showeth his special mercy to whomsoever he will. O Lord, help thou thy loved ones to acquire knowledge and the sciences and arts, and to unravel the secrets that are treasured up in the inmost reality of all created beings. Make them to hear the hidden truths that are written and embedded in the heart of all that is. Make them be ensigns of guidance amongst thy creatures, and piercing rays of the mind shedding forth their light in this, the first light. Make them to be leaders unto thee, guides unto thy path, runners urging men on to thy kingdom. Thou verily art the powerful, the protector, the potent, the defender, the mighty, the most generous.
Thank you, Kim. Thank you. I see that Nino has joined us in the Zoom. Good morning, Nino. Is there anyone else who would like to share a prayer or reading?
By the way, the word you're looking for was supernal, I believe.
Yes, supernal. Yes, yes. I'm glad you pointed that out. Well, then, in that case, we will move on. Again, because I'm not at the center, I don't have all my little signs and everything, but we always like to point out that number one, this is a group effort, and every time you show up, whether you're in the Zoom or on Facebook, trust me, I think of you as being a part of the group effort. We love the fact that you're finding some value in what we do, and we hope that we continue to see you. I see we have Ralph here. Good morning, Ralph, there in Facebook. And whether view this program in the time that we're actually doing it, or you stream it later, again, feel free to leave a comment or any kind of reaction, because it really is very encouraging. It's very encouraging, and so we appreciate that. And of course, we appreciate that. Hey, Nino, it's okay. Nino put a little note in the chat here in Zoom. He's sorry he got here so late. It's okay, man. We're glad you're here. But yeah, any form of, your presence is support. And we get little reactions and so forth, and responses from people all over the globe, which is truly encouraging. And so we want to thank you for that. And on the local level, and again, like to point out that, yes, number one, we stream through clearwaterbahais.org. We appreciate their support in allowing us to do this. And also, of course, we usually come to you from the Clearwater Center, and there are other programs that do take place at the center. You'd have to be plugged into clearwaterbahais.org, or hope maybe even have a friend locally, a Baha'i friend that can keep you informed. But there are other things that do go on at the center. And if you are interested in knowing more about the faith, you can go to clearwaterbahais.org at any given time, online, of course, but you can also go to baha'i.us, baha'i.org. I always have problems with those, baha'i.org. You can also go to oceanslibrary.net, or I'm not sure which one. I always forget, but it's Oceans Library. Which is a phenomenal interfaith. We always like to say it's Baha'i because it is hosted and managed by Baha'is and started by Baha'is. But it is listed as an interfaith library where you can access a variety, in fact, the pretty much the fullness of spiritual writings from all of the major world faiths. And if you'd like to have that in your pocket at all times without having to go online to access that, those writings and so forth, you can do exactly what I did this morning. I already had the app on my phone, Oceans 2.0, Ocean, not S, Ocean 2.0. I always have to be corrected on that. Ocean 2.0. And you can access all of these writings 100% free. There's not one penny charged. And, you can have it there for study. It also has, it's an app. Part of the app is you can have it as an audio version. You can click on audio. It actually will read it to you. So you can listen in you were driving your car or doing other things at home. Or, of course, you can read it on your own. So it's just a great way to learn more about the faith. And I would dare say even to simply help strengthen your own spiritual walk. Now today we finished chapter 11 in some answered questions, and next week we are going to move on into chapter 12, which is the commentary on the 11th chapter of Isaiah. Yes, we're still looking at Bible prophecy and how does it connect and what are the meanings of all these things, I think for those of you, again, who may have come from a Christian tradition or a Christian upbringing as I did, you're going to find some surprises. In fact, you're probably finding them already as we're going through this, and Abdul Bahaza is explaining what a lot of this prophecy means. Obviously not to be taken literally, and yet the effects that it has on human existence is real. And we can have a deeper understanding and explanation. So again, next week we're going to be looking at the commentary on the 11th chapter of Isaiah. Okay, so yeah, we're going to be doing that. And as always, we always like to say that, hey, we just got past Christmas for most people around the world. I know that some people celebrated that at a different time, but we're in the holiday season where we are observing, the birth of Christ. And we're not going to get into when he was really born and so forth. The point is, he was born, he was a manifestation of God, he guided people and did what he could. His mission was to bring people to God as a manifestation of God, as a messenger of God, as is the mission of Baha'u'llah, another messenger of God. So, in the middle of this season, or as the season comes to a close for many, let's remember that we're always supposed to be showing love as much as we can in every way possible, showing love for our fellow man. And if we are missing that point, then we're missing the whole point. So yeah, get out there and show some love. Show some love in every way that you can. You know what? It really, when we think about it, it usually doesn't take much. And Daryl always points that out. It doesn't take a lot. It just doesn't. And so we need to try and consciously and deliberately practice showing love to our fellow human beings. And as pointed out in the writings, even our other creatures, shall we say. Anyway, we're going to close with a different song here. I know it's a little early, but this is a song you've heard us do as well. And since this is, a time where we're all hoping for peace, we can point to so many examples of people who apparently are thinking in a totally, different way. I thought maybe we'd close with a little portion of this song, All We Want Is Peace, which you've heard us do many times. Sun is rising on a new day, shedding light across the land. The Father's showing us the right way to take His love to all of man. But some keep fighting, some keep killing, shedding blood around the world. But keep believing, keep on praying. One day God's kingdom will be unfurled. 'Cause all we want is peace high on every mountain. All we want is peace down in every valley. All we want is peace flowing like a river. May it never cease. All we want is peace. Baha'i and Hindu, every child of God, there's a way that we can live as one. All those rockets, all those rifles, all those weapons, why don't we melt them down and build the plowshares to feed the hungry, till no more hunger can be found? 'Cause all we want is peace high on every mountain, peace down in every valley, flowing like a river may never cease. All we want is peace. 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 Have a good week, folks. Take care. I see you there in Facebook, Bill. Glad you could join us. Take care, people. Have a good week.